This is going to be the second part. And you remember before, we graph in rectangles and find the length and width for each rectangle. Then we're gonna add, and our solution is going to be approximate solution. Now we're gonna use the integral. So our function with respect to the x, that's mean I already know f of x, which is the y equals sine x. I need to find the area. So I'm going to use the integral. The integral for sine x dx. That's mean my rectangles is going to be on the x. That's why I'm going to do the integral with respect to the x. Okay. Now, but from which point to which point? My rectangle from 0 to pi over 3. So it's going to be from 0 to pi over 3. Our rectangles like this. From start, like here is rectangle, here is rectangle, and keep going, rectangles, rectangles, and keep going from 0 to pi over 3. So from 0 to pi over 3, sine x dx. That's mean the integral for sine x is what?
Cosine x.
Cosine x. And from 0 to pi over 3. Next step, what we're going to do? We're going to plug in cosine pi over 3 minus cosine. How much cosine pi over 3?
No.
Cosine pi over 3. Go ahead, tell me. Half or square root of 3 divided by 2. Cosine 0 is what?
Why?
0.
No.
1.
Cosine pi over 3.
Another 1/2 or square root of 3 over 2.
Pi over 3 is what? Pi is 180. Divide by 3.
Oh, 60.
60. Okay. So we're gonna do 60 here. Now, how much the cosine?
He gave me this mobile.
0.886 something. Yes, I'm good. Oh no.
0.998.
Okay. No, change it to the regular mode.
Oh,
0.88.
0.5. Okay.
0.5. Okay. The cosine.
That's cosine.
Okay. 0.5. The cosine, that's mean 1 over 2. And here is the square root of 3. You see, I graph. I just need to know cosine or sine. Cosine is the adjacent divided by the hypothesis. Don't forget to recap. Same thing. So the cosine half for the 60, so it's going to be 1 over 2. That's mean how much is going to be cosine? 1 over 2 minus 1, and the result is going to be what? So this is the cosine. What about the sine? Going to be what? The opposite over the hypothesis. So it's going to be square root of 3 divided by 2. Now this angle is what? 9. That means this one is what? Here's the theory. Have the same triangle. The sine for theory is going to be 1 over 2. The cosine for theory is going to be square root of 3 divided by 2. You got it? So you don't just have to know this triangle. You can know the angles without using calculator. Okay, I know you forgot that. You have a problem with this one, I know, because you forgot the defined integral. You missed the class, okay? So it's easy. You just have to set up from 0 to pi over 3. And to do the definite integral, you're gonna plug in, after you do the integral, You're gonna plug in this amount here minus this amount,
And it's always subtraction?
always. Okay, always. And when you do the first examples, you will see it exactly the same.
Okay.
So question 12, they tell you find the area. Now, do we have the graph? Don't have the graph. We have to graph it. So now let's graph this one. Let's do a simple graph. This is a y. Yeah, this is x. Okay. Now let's see. First of all, x is 0. So here is x is 0. And the other x is what? I think we need more space. So x is 0, here is x is 0. And x is 2, I'm gonna say this is 1, and this is 2. So I have the coordinate for the x. Y is 0. What about the other y? So it's the same point here. It's x and y. I need to graph this curve. How are we gonna graph it? Until now, we didn't do it. We just need to graph the area. So my area here is the x, and here is the y. How are we gonna graph this one? So overthinking. How are we gonna graph this one? X, and here is y. Do you have x is 0, and you choose x1 and x2, right? Now, if you plug in x is 0, 0 plus 5, plus 5 times 0, 0 plus 5, so it's going to be 5. That means when x is 0, how much the y? The y is 5. Let's graph here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's mean here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, when x is 1, so it'll be 5 times 1, it's going to be 1 plus 5. I want 10. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's mean. Here is the other point. Not this one. This one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, the other point is what?
2.
2. So we get 10 here. Now 2, plug in 2 here, it's going to be 4. That's mean 5 times 4 is 20 plus 5, 25. That's mean this is 15, 20 is going to be here. So here, let's do it here. Okay, that means here is my curve. So where is the area? The area between 0 and 2. Okay, so here's the area. It's just a graphing. Don't worry about that, because the integral you can tell. You can do the integral for the x or the y. I'm just showing you how to graph it. You're gonna do the integral for the x, and you have the coordinate for the x. You have 0 and 2. So we need to use the integral. Our function is y equal 5x squared plus 5. That's mean I need to find the area between 0 and 2. So our rectangles, I'm gonna do it with respect to the x. Our rectangle is going to be like this. So I'm gonna say, okay, it's the integral from
0 to 2.
from 0 to 2 to this function 5x squared plus 5. Now, with respect to
dx.
dx. Let's find the integral here. What's the integral for 5x squared? Going to be 5x cubed divided by 3. Right?
Yeah.
Plus, what's the integral here? 5x from. Now I'm going to plug in 2 first. So it's going to be 5 times 2 cubed over 3 plus 5 times 2. And everything minus, we're going to plug in now which? 0. Plug in the 0 here. 5, 0 cubed divided by 3 plus 5 times 0. You got it? So if you check here, everything here is 0. Now on this side, it's going to be 5 times 8 over 3 plus 10. How are we going to solve this one? 5 times 8,
40.
40 divided by 3 plus 10. So it's going to be equal 40 by 3 plus 10. That means you're going to write down this over 1 times the 3 times the 3. So it's going to be 40 over 3 plus 30 over 3. And the result is going to be what?
70 over 3.
70 over 3. You got it? That hard? Number 13, we have only y equal
Negative x squared
negative x squared
plus 4x.
plus 4x.
Y equals 0.
Y equals 0. So the main thing I need to graph it, because if you look, you can find the integral, but we need to graph it so we can see where's the area. Let's graph it. We can do the same thing. So let's say, okay. Negative y equals 0. No, I have, that's the only point I have. So I'm gonna create a small table with x and y. Okay? Now, let's check. Bounded by the graph of the equations and the region. We already know this is what?
Quadratic.
Which is the domain is all x and y, the negative and the positive numbers.
Okay.
Then I need to do a simple graph. Can I choose 0?
I mean, you can, but I mean, 0.
So
0, 0,
I can choose 0. Okay, if x 0, plug in how much the y?
0.
0. Keep in your mind, this is quadratic and it's negative, so it's going to be the graph like this. I'm talking about this fraction here. Remember the graph? Because the negative is reflect over x-axis. Let's see our graph. And 4x, so it's going to be a little bit shifted up. Now, if I choose 1, how much is going to be here? This is negative 1 plus 4,
30.
it's going to be 3. If I choose 2, it's going to be negative 4 plus, how much that will be? So 2 is going to be 4. Let's grab this one. 0, 0. And 1, 3. This is 1. 1, 2, 3. And the other point is what? 2, 4. 1, 2. That's 4. So the graph is look like this. Yeah, start from y equals 0 This is y equals 0. But until when? What are we gonna do?
Pick the number. 5.
Plug in -1 here. Don't worry about the negative sign. -1 squared is going to be 1. That means it's going to be -1 plus,
-4, 4.
so how is it going to be?
-5.
Okay, now plug in 1.
3.
Negative, so it's gonna be 3. Now let's grab these points. 0, 0, here is 0, 0. -1, -5. -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To be here. And the other point is what? 1, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. So where is the region we need to find? They're telling you find the area between this graph and y equals 0. Where is y equals 0?
0, 0.
It is here. So is that the area here? Or where?
So we're starting at 0.
Where is the area we need to find? We graph this one, right? And if we keep going, we're gonna keep going down and we'll keep going from here. So where is the area we need to
Oh,
find?
dy.
What?
dy.
So is that the area we need to find? Yes or no? I know you're just gonna do the integral, but where is the integral for the y? Can you do the integral for the y? You have only point y, because the coordinate for the x, you can't tell. Where's the coordinate for the x? Because the graph keep going up. But for the y, the graph y equals 0 here. This is the area? Can you find it for the y? Yes or no?
I guess not.
The graph, I told you, the graph is what? I know the graph is parabola down like this. So here's the first point. The second point is 1, 3, which is 1.
So can we try plugging in 0 for the y to get the 2 separate x's?
No, yes, like my goal was the region, it says y equals 0. So here's the first part. I need to find the x. So let's keep going.
2.
2, how is going to be? I don't need the negative number because -2 is going to be on this side. I'm not gonna care about this side now. If I took 2, plug in 2 here, it's going to be -4 plus what? Plus 8, which is going to be what? 4. So 2 is going to be 4. Add 2 here, it's going to be 4. Here's the other point. Keep going. Add 3. Going to be -9 plus
4.
12, which is -9 plus 12.
3.
That's me 3, 3. What happened to the graph?
It's going down. So at 4, it's 0.
It's going down. So now 4, you get -4 square is going to be -16 plus 16, going to be what?
Zero.
So at 4 is going to be 0. So here is the graph. Up like this. Where is the area now I need to find?
2 to 4.
Between this graph, which is here is the graph, and y equal
0.
y equals 0. This is y equals 0. Is that the area? So now we're gonna graph rectangle like this. Our rectangle is going to be from 0 to
4.
4. So now we locate, this is the important part, from 0 to 4. So our rectangle from 0 to 4, the integral negative x to the power 2 plus 4x to the dx. Right now, easier. So don't graph until certain point because we don't know. We need to graph the whole thing. And then you're gonna, okay, from y equals 0 to this graph. So here's our region. Okay, now can we do this integral? What's the integral for this part? Is negative x cubed divided by 3 plus 4x squared divided by 2, and then from 0 to 4. And then this is negative x cubed divided by 3 plus 2x squared from 0 to 4. Plug in the 4, going to be negative 4 cubed divided by 3 plus 4. No, that's 4, it's 2. 2, 4 squared minus, plug in the 0, which is negative 0 cubed divided by 3 plus 2 and 0 squared. And the whole thing here is 0. So it's going to be negative 64 divided by 3 plus 2 times 16, which is 32, and then times 3 times 3, and the rest.